Hi everyone, John O'Malley here from Denver, Colorado. Here is my presentation on the case of Alex. So here we go. When the context of when we started this case, Alex was 18, and we're looking at was Alex denied a free appropriate education. The family was also requesting two specific things. One, reimbursement for the private evaluation that they had, and two, that the school district pay for intense sensory program that was recommended by two practitioners. So we're going to go ahead and look to see if they should be awarded those two requests. So in 2003, when Alex was 7 years old, they started to kind of notice that he was struggling in school. Um, Requests were made, I think, 4 times until Alex was evaluated. So it was close to 4 years that went by until Alex was evaluated, even though requests continue to be made. In 2007, when he was finally evaluated, it was determined that he had a mild intellectual disability. So this is different than a learning disability because it's noticing that he has his intelligence is outside the normal range, so there isn't necessarily a discrepancy between ability and kind of achievement. So because of that, he was placed into a restrictive classroom. He was not given a general education curriculum. So in 2012, I think this is kind of huge. When he was reevaluated, he was showing more in the normal range of intelligence, meaning that he now qualifies for a specific learning disability, also meaning that maybe he did have the ability to engage in some of this general education curriculum and that he was denied this. So at this time, he was performing below a third grade level in pretty much everything. A couple of them he's at a second grade level. However, given this new change, the school wasn't really jumping up and down over this. It kind of time went by, and it wasn't until October, so a couple of months going by until any changes were made. So when Alex was in the 10th grade, their family kind of made it known that their goal was for him to receive a regular high school diploma, maybe even go to college. And when their team met, they decided that Alex would be mainstreamed for 2/3 of his classes. Now, although on one hand you would think, okay, this is great, on the other, he's never seen a general education class. So are we just kind of throwing him in at this point, um, almost setting him up to not be successful? So, um, despite evaluations from two kind of places, kind of saying that he needs intense one-on-one work, the school district um, wasn't really receptive to that and wanted him to use this computer program, even though they were really dragging their feet to provide that. And then when they met on May 12th, Alex has failed all of his language arts classes in the second semester of algebra, showing that the computer program really wasn't meeting his needs. So when I kind of looked at this, I was kind of looking at it from two things, like should we reimburse them for the private evaluation, and should the school district pay for intense kind of one-on-one education? So I really liked Yale and how they summed it up. So free and appropriate education, we're looking at 5 things. So were the parents involved in the process? And throughout this whole thing, the parents really weren't meaningfully involved. So I think we can go ahead and say, okay, there's some evidence for that. Two, were the teachers, administrators, were they provided education to, in a sense, help students? So given that he was maybe misdiagnosed early on, I'm really disappointed in the teachers and the educators and the administrators in that building, that they weren't able to pick up on maybe that was the wrong diagnosis. Um, Also, there wasn't really a detailed IEP, and those IEPs, it seems like, were kind of blown off. And clearly, Alex was denied the general education curriculum, and clearly was um, not placed in the least restrictive environment. So I think we have a great kind of case to say that yes, he was denied a free, appropriate, free education. So so first, I kind of determined that um, appropriate elementary, secondary education was not provided. He was not like given the appropriate level of education. Um, Given that it took 4 years to be evaluated from the initial start of when this all started, that was way too long, and I think that kind of goes into it. Um, and given that the parents weren't involved, and I kind of cited a case there, I think all these go into clear evidence that free appropriate education was denied. So I did say that the school district should pay for the one-on-one education. The Houston Independent Schools versus Bobby R., I think, kind of helps with that. Um, it shows that there is evidence for school districts paying for that. Um, and because the school district didn't really collect data to show that their interventions were working, I think that they're held responsible, and that they weren't trying more and more education. So because IDEA, in a sense, allows students kind of educational services until they're 21, I'm going to go ahead and rule to say that they need to pay for that until Alex is 21. Also, I think there's a justification that they are reimbursed for the evaluation. We saw this in the Gillard versus DC case, that they reimbursed, and also in line with the Yankton School District, where they reimbursed as well, given given that the school was not really doing, in a sense, what they were supposed to. So again, I'm going to say that they need to pay for the program, and that they need to reimburse the parents for the costs that they accumulated. So, summary, the free and appropriate education was denied, and I'm going to go ahead and rule that reimbursement should be provided, and that we should do our best at this point to provide intense quality education until he's 21, since that's what the law states, and that the district is going to go ahead and have to pay for that. All right, have a good one, everyone.